and they were Muslim, and it was part of a Muslim holy war against the United States. Now, it's more complicated than that, though, right? Because one of the things that they were angry at us for was our foreign interventionism, like in the Middle East, like thanks to our relationship
if
with.
you read a letter, what was it? A letter to America by Osama bin Laden. They said, yo, it's the fact that you got military bases in the Holy Land. It's the fact that you allow the Israelis to treat the Palestinians like cattle. Like, that's the whole reason why we said jihad upon y'all. And I'm like, so it's not because you just hate our freedoms like George Bush said. It's because we're actually doing some bullshit out there in the Middle East. And that's usually what it is. But they'll sell it to you as if, they just hate us.
Our friend Israel, I mean,
right.
I'm not justifying in any way, shape, or form their motivation for what they did. I'm just saying, like, if we're going to be honest about the foreign policy picture, it's more complicated than just Muslims who hate us for just who we are, which was the lie that was sold and that I believe for a long time. Just like, because we're pro-democracy, just because we love freedom, that was actually propaganda, and it's not the full picture. So there is a reason to have some suspicion about like the more radical Muslims, and radical Islam is a scourge.
Right.
But I think too often we've conflated, and I've been guilty of this myself, that radical Islam with just Islam.
Right.
And that's not right. Like, I actually have Muslim friends who are absolutely totally lovely and have no designs on jihad whatsoever. They just want to raise their families.
It's the funniest thing when they said, oh, Muslims are trying to take over. And I'm just like, bro, if we just, all right, let's just go over that idea. Okay, so, Pakistan's a Muslim country with nukes. If they wanted to take over, then Pakistan would say all American bases out of the region, or we're going to start nuking. We're going to start nuking Israel or fire a nuke at you guys. If it was all about a Muslim takeover, that'd be Pakistan's first move. Second move would be creating a United States of Arabia or something like that, or United States of Islam or something like that. And then they would use that together to build their population, to build their infrastructure, then to eventually build a larger arsenal of nukes. And then, of course, they're going to go into full-on jihad with us. So why is none of that happening yet? Oh, because they got their own beefs in the Middle East to handle first, or they're just not willing to work together at all to even commit to a worldwide domination, or to commit to world domination, or to commit to a full jihad against America. I'm sorry, but if that was the case and they're going for a full takeover, we would start seeing the steps already. And think about it like this. I'm saying it out loud. Don't you think these motherfuckers thinking the same thing? But you want to know why they can't commit to that? Because they got their own little politics going on, little political disagreements going on in the Middle East that they just can't unite under. But trust me, if they was going for a full takeover, all that beef would disappear overnight. They would unify and go at us 100%. If it was about world takeover, of course.
Way that actually bears.
And they got the numbers. They got over like 2 billion people dedicated to this ideology. I mean, they got the numbers. So if this was really the plan, I mean, come on now. What's taking them so long?
A lot of resemblance to how we Christians live, in a God-fearing way, in a way of where you observe your faith, a way in which you don't want weird woke ideology finding its way into your child's classroom. There's actually a lot in common. And I think those people actually have been targeted by some people who are extremely pro-Israel and kind of lumped into the radical Islamist sect in a way that's unfair and actually kind of dangerous to them. And I think I've been guilty of that. And I've kind of been talking about it and thinking about it a lot lately, because it's a long story, but the short version is I've always been very pro-Israel. And I don't think I paid enough attention to how I was being manipulated by fellow people who are extremely pro-Israel on the question of just Muslims. It's not to say I'm pro-Islam. People are like, oh, you're a jihadi now. Okay, no, stop it.
Right.
Now, I remember when I first started, like, what was it? It was when people actually start criticizing Islam heavily, they didn't do this during the election. And I think they know better than to do that, because then, trust me, a lot of Muslims voted for Trump just off the stance of no new wars in the Middle East. A lot of Muslims actually did vote for Trump. So they knew better than to say this during the election. But after the election, when I started hearing this anti-Muslim rhetoric, like when I start sticking up for them, I'm starting to hear a lot of my guys go like, "Oh, you're standing up for everything I'm against," and I'm just like, "All right, substantiate that." And it was actually one of my old supporters. I was like, "You're saying I'm going against everything you stand against. You got to be able to substantiate that," and he wasn't able to. And it kind of just exposed the fact that I'm like, bro, you kind of been brainwashed to hate Muslims because you can't substantiate why you're mad at me for defending them and why you even hate them yourself. Well, to stand against Christianity. I'm like, all right, great. We can have that debate. They did not want to have that debate because trust me, I'm going to destroy anybody that sits there and says that, oh, no, they completely are antithetical to Christianity. I mean, that's a complete lie. But if you ever want to have the debate, we can. I'm going to cook you on it. But that's the thing. A lot of these people want to just hate Islam unopposed, no debate, no nothing. They just believe that they're right because of what? They're Christians and it's Islam. Like, really? I mean, that really isn't well, I would just say this. You lost a lot of respect on that one.
I actually don't think that the tenets of Islam are consistent with the way we need to govern in the West. I don't think they're, I think it's too close, church and state. I don't think they're pro like women and equality for women. There's some other things too, but that doesn't mean,
depending on the state, depending on the Islamic country. Yeah. Not all Islamic countries believe that, women are equal and all that good stuff. Most of them do, though. I mean, the biggest Muslim country not the biggest, but the most highly populated in the most highly populated Muslim country in the world, it believes in women's rights. I mean, shit, even Iran allows women to go to school and all that good stuff. So that's like not really something that's, I mean, a popular ideal in the Muslim world or the Muslim community. Is that, oh no, women just stay in the house all day burkered up? Like, no, like in most of these Muslim countries, they're allowed to go to school, they're allowed to be out without a hijab. Like, they can do things, they can definitely can. They have a lot more freedom than the mainstream media will let you know of. I mean, shoot, it's probably a surprise for you hearing me say that yes, women can go to school in Iran.
I have objections with regular Muslims living their lives peacefully here in the United States.
Right.
And I think too often the same crowd that wants to lecture us if we don't see anti-Semitism everywhere has zero concerns about what's happening to those folks.
Exactly.
As a result of just lumping them all into the same bucket.
Yeah, it's the same pro-Israel Jewish people that, that hate when people think that they're evil because of their religion and their ethnicity, but they'll sit there and try to frame a whole other group of people as evil because of their religion and ideology. But they hate when people start pointing out stuff in the Talmud and how they low-key don't like Jesus and they call that anti-Semitic, but then they'll turn around and do the same thing to Muslims. It's like, are you serious?
Right. The reason why I bring that up is because we have a representative in Florida right now. His name is Randy Fine. He said some very despicable things about Muslims. And then Tucker went on stage at AmFest, I think it was, and he spoke out against the hatred that a lot of Republicans have for Muslims. And I thought it was honorable of him to even mention that.
Facts.
Being on that stage to say that, hey, we have a problem with people just hating Muslims just because they're Muslims.
Facts.
I'm looking for the right words for Randy Fine. I think technically the term is fucktard.
Yeah.
I can't stand him.
Fat piece of shit. I mean, shoot, that's a pretty good line from him as well. It's like, that's what I see him as, a fat, hateful piece of shit. So F Randy Fine, and F John Bolton as well. Because those two people, I ain't gonna lie though, those are the two like conservatives that probably piss me off. Okay, never mind. Randy Fine, Lindsey Graham, Mark Levin. Yeah, those are the three conservatives that piss me off the most. Every time I hear them, I be wanting to put my fucking head through a wall. Like, I can't believe it. Why do I share an ideology with these bastards? How can we both be conservatives when these guys are damn near stand against the conservative movement through their foreign policy? Like, it's crazy. But shout out to my man Noah. He says, remove taxes, bring back yeah, well, damn. He said, bring back calendars based off the solstice and equinox with the day of rest. And as a species, we need to be more spiritual. Man, bro, I swear to God, we do. And more in tune with nature and working from the betterment of our species. Yeah, we do need to start working for the betterment of our species. We do need to start being more in tune with nature. Now, the solstice and the equinox calendars, I ain't gonna lie, I'm feeling that too. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm kind of feeling that one too. But trust me, dog, there's a laundry list of things we need to like start going down the list on as well, a people, as a nation. And if we don't start doing that sooner or later, bro, we're just gonna lose this nation due to division. And that's all that's being sold to us is division. And as soon as anybody tries to unify, those guys are attacked the most. That's what sucks. It's the unifiers are attacked the most. And that's why I choose to be a unifier, because I know the heat that it comes with. Then I also know that, yo, I don't want to be a divider because all I'm doing is like low key getting us further away from our goal. Not only the goal that I want for our people, but the goal that God wants for us, which is to be in oneness and in peace and all this good stuff. But apparently, bro, niggas just don't want that for us. Excuse my language. Oh, and of course, shout out to the super chat, man.
Razor blade.
Oh, yeah, don't tell Kim Jong-un I showed you that. Yeah, don't tell him I showed you that.
He is a disgusting, filthy human being. I just find him so gross. The things he tweets and says so casually about what's happening in Gaza, about any Muslims whatsoever, really projects nothing but bloodthirsty. That he's a bloodthirsty guy when it comes to Muslim death. It's disgusting. He's really actually one of the main people I'm thinking about when I'm talking about what the ardently pro-Israel crowd thinks about Muslims and wants us to think about Muslims. And whatever he wants, I don't want. You hear him talk, it's just like he's lost all care for humanity. And I say this to somebody, guys, like when 10/7 happened, it was so awful. And I cried on the air and I talked openly and still would about what was done to the Israelis. It was heartbreaking. And I was very, very defensive of Israel for months on its retribution campaign because look who we did after 9/11. We would have done the same thing and we wouldn't have been proportionate about it. We would have and did unleash hell on the people who conducted that operation against us.
Yeah, we would have. But Megyn, you can't say we'd have started bombing hospitals and schools, though. Let's just keep it real. But yeah, we'd have went all in on them, but we'd went in all in their bases. We wouldn't start bombing hospitals and schools talking about fucking human shields. Like, I wish our country would try to sell us that bullshit.
So I feel like I gave them a long, long leash. But dude, we're 2 years into it and there's nothing left of Gaza.
Like, bro, here's the thing. I was literally where Megyn Kelly was at until the reckless bombing of hospitals and schools. That's where I was like, okay, hold on, bro. This is different. Yeah, I'm not just going after Hamas no more. And then talking about they're using human shields. Hold on, you're blowing up a whole building for 2 Hamas members? Like, bro, what? Killing, bro, 10, 12 civilians just for 2 Hamas members. Do y'all hear yourselves? Does that not sound a bit bloodthirsty? But okay. Apparently, I'm just being an anti-Semite for calling that out.
Been carpet bombed, and tens of thousands of civilians, children, women, elderly, and Christians are now dead.
Bruh.
And in the beginning, the story from the
they bombed 36 schools talking about human shields. They told the Palestinians to go to this school in Rafah and then bombed it, talking about human shields. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Every time they recklessly kill more civilians than Hamas, they just say, oh, but human shields. And I'm like, okay, well, you bombed the hospital because an Hamas agent was in, or Hamas, militant was in there. Well, they're allowed to get medical help. You know that, right? So you just can't bomb a hospital because Hamas people in there are getting medical attention. That's not how it works. But F it. I mean, to Israel, bro, wherever you're at, the target.
Israelis about like, oh, we dropped the pamphlets and we never tried to kill a civilian, but a couple might get caught inadvertently was working for me. Yeah. I was like, okay, I get it. We killed civilians too in Afghanistan and Iraq, not intentionally, but war is hell. But you can't use that 2 years in when you continue to carpet bomb an entire city. And now they want to extend the campaign to Beirut. So it's like, even if you're ardently pro-Israel, if you open your eyes to their conduct, you start to get a little questioning.
Yeah. I mean, when you wake up every day to seeing kids under rubble, then, all these kids that are missing limbs and all this good stuff, hundreds of people dead all over just from one bombing that took out one Hamas soldier, but killed 18 civilians. You're kind of looking at this shit like, yeah, this is not being carried out humanely. And I know what she said, and what she was trying to say was, oh, well, wouldn't America do the same? No, the fuck we wouldn't. Trust me, I think our military would stand in solidarity with what I said. Oh, no, the hell we wouldn't. Bombing hospitals and schools, knowing damn well children are in there, risking it like that? No, we would not. But apparently Israel ain't got no qualms with doing it, and that's the disturbing part about it. And I do hate when people try to say, oh, well, we would do the same. I mean, yeah, we'd attack them the same, but Not identically. No, we're not just gonna start recklessly bombing hospitals and schools. And here's the thing: if we did, bro, there will be riots in the streets over that just because we're doing it ourselves. The only reason why Israel was able to get away with it, because I'm gonna be real with you, we're paying for it, but we're not directly doing it. And because we were paying for it, not a lot of people even knew what was going on. Like I explained what was look, most people I walk up to didn't even know there was a genocide going on in Gaza, didn't even know that the October 7th happened. Like, I swear to God, I walk up to most people in my life and I start explaining problems in the Middle East. They're scratching their head with an aching heart, going like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this was happening." I'm like, been happening for about 2 years now. Where have you been? And I'm gonna tell you, most people don't know because we're not the ones directly doing it.
What they've actually done, if
Many
you're
don't
paying
pay
attention,
attention.
not Randy Fine. No. Oh, hell no. And I think Tucker was one of the first on the sort of more established right to start talking about Muslims because he's got actually a lot of Muslim friends in the Middle East. He's been there many times. You know, nothing will humanize someone you've been demonizing for you quite like knowing them.
Oh
You know,
God,
like spending time with them.
Oh, if you haven't already, guys, make sure to like that video, guys. If you be on Rumble or YouTube, man, let's make sure we push this video into the algorithm and push the whole channel into the algorithm by smashing that like button. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's get right back into it.
And when I was on the air at Fox, I used to talk about my friend Iffy all the time, who's in New York and is a young mom and has 4 beautiful children. And she doesn't want them to get targeted because Randy Fine is saying he'd much rather have all the Muslims kicked out of New York than all the dogs, right? Like, it's like, okay, first of all, the Muslims are not trying to kick out all the dogs out of New York.
Right.
That was one lunatic who said something stupid.
Right.
And second of all,
it was one crazy girl from Mandani's camp. Like, it was her opinion, and it did not reflect the opinions of Mandani's camp or anything like that. It just reflected her personal opinion, and they took that for all of Muslims. And I get tired of that, of those guys doing that. They'll take the radical ideology of the bro, and they do this all the fucking time, and it irritates me. They'll show me Shia Muslims saying some radical ass thing, and they said, "Well, what, you defending this? Are you defending this type of Islam?" No, you fucking dumbass. I'm not defending the radicals. Nobody is. We're telling you that these radicals you're trying to show us as the prime example of Islam is not. You trying to take the radicals and make that all of Islam when that's not true. And that's when Randy Fine did. He took a radical that said, "Oh, we shouldn't allow no dogs in the house in New York because she's Muslim, and that's, what was it? Unsanitary to them, whatever. F them on that one. I love dogs. But I'm not saying we should just replace all Muslims over that. Like, no. But no, that was just one radical lady that said that, and then they made it to seem like all Muslims think that. And that's what they do all the time. They take the most radical Muslims and make it out to be all Muslims. And I swear to God, it's the most fucking irritating thing ever. And they know they do it every time.
Who would talk about like Muslims as a group like that to sort of say like, get them all the fuck out? Like, they're lower than canines.
And I'm sorry though, the reason why it irritates me is just so intellectually dishonest. It's like you just put your face in your hand, just like, I know you can't be for real here. I know you can. So what? Can I take the members of the KKK and say that all Christians are white nationalists, or racist white Christian nationalists? Should I do that too? Can I take all of the KKK and make all Christians out to be them? Is that fair? Of course not. So why the F are you doing it to the Muslims?
I mean, that's just like, that's gross. I think about my friend and her 4 little babes, and I think you're a disgusting human, and you are.
Just shout out Josh. It's like, no, for real. Dogs are better than most people. Most people.
What makes me proud to not be a registered Republican.
Right. I think when I look at both sides, and I don't condone any hatred towards, people of the Jewish faith, as well as I don't condone, hatred of the Muslims. But don't you think there is a double standard right now? It's like, when I look at Randy Fine, when I think of anti-Semitism, he's the epitome of anti-Semitism. He says the most despicable thing about Muslims, who are also Semitic people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Laura Loomer, and nobody checks them. That's what kind of makes my stomach turn about the Republican Party or the conservatives, is that you got these two that is under our banner and nobody checks them for this, like the rhetoric that they spew. And I mean, bro, Laura Loomer, bro, she gives everybody, not just Muslims, but everybody get it. But her main focus right now is Muslims. Randy Fine, I mean, he's always hated Muslims. Like, let's just be real. But yeah, it's these two that don't get checked in the conservative party that just makes us look like a bunch of racists. Like this is why they say the conservative or MAGA is a bunch of racists, because of people like Randy Fine and Laura Loomer that, well, they cover for. And I can't even blame people for saying that, because if we're covering for people like that, then yeah, I'm going. I'm out. I can't say I'm MAGA and Laura Loomer's MAGA too. I'm not being in no movement with this bitch. Like the fuck you talking about? But all right.
Man, I don't understand why it's not a bigger story, like the things he says and the things he does. But let's face it, you're never going to see a Mark Levin monologue on this guy's extremity when it comes to this issue, right? Because the truth is there's a large collection of people who agree with Randy Fine and actually see him as kind of a hero. You know, you're not going to see long editorials on these right-wing websites, the right-wing ones, who will take down Tucker Carlson. They'll devote pages and pages of ink to how evil Tucker is, but they'll give Randy Fine a complete pass. It's like, well, do you care about humanity or don't you? Because personally, I actually do believe that Israelis were not only murdered, but raped on 10/7. And I'm deeply upset about that. But I actually have real questions about what the IDF has done to the Palestinians.
In the prisons that they locked them up for with no trial, no nothing, no due process. But, you know, they're locking up Palestinians for act of terrorism. And, you know, it's been reported by guards and prisoners, Palestinian prisoners, that they do get sexually assaulted, both men and women. And it was reported by the New York Times, and they tried to call the guy anti-Semitic for reporting on it. It was hilarious, actually. It's like, dang. And it was crazy because the people, other reporters from the New York Times was attacking the reporter who worked for the New York Times on reporting on that. I was like, okay, this is crazy.
It's jails too. And I don't think it's verboten to ask hard questions about how far that went and how widespread it was. But there's a difference, because you can say whatever you want. And I know this. You can say whatever you want about Muslims, and you're not going to get that kind of blowback. You say anything about Israel.
Oh,
and I'm not talking about American Jews here. I'm talking about Israel and its behavior in the conduct of war. And you will get a boycott campaign against you. You will get the online bots completely harassing you. You will get American citizens who have registered as foreign agents for Israel unleashing an AI campaign against you. It's effed up. There are certain things you can touch and certain things you can't. And you learn the hard way that Israel is in the second category.
That beef you have with Mark Levin, it's so funny to us. What was he like when you worked at Fox?
Angry. It's pretty much been his thing. I mean, we used to joke like, oh, Mark Levin, he's angry again. Shocked.
Really?
You know, we always thought he was very, very smart and very, very angry. And that worked for radio at that time. You know, it was like the only reason Mark Levin has a radio career is because Rush Limbaugh made it possible. And basically what happened was Rush, Hannity, and then they folded in Levin, got a monopoly on conservative radio and kept everybody else out. They colluded, the three of them. Hannity told me this personally.
Wow.
That they colluded to keep out people who they didn't want. And they built up Levin into something. And Roger Ailes once told me, he was like, you know, that angry shtick works in some corners. And that's really what he leaned into, just like his natural unhappiness.
Mark Levin's natural, angry, high-pitched self. And bro, there's nothing you can really do about that. It is what it is. I mean, look, if you post a picture and of course you post it like horizontally, or I guess what's the proper way? Portrait style, not portrait style, but landscape style. If you post a landscape style, it's going to have some cutoffs. But if you post your portrait style on your post, then there is no cutoffs. It's just the way it is and the way the picture's set up. Ain't really nothing you can do about it.
Depression and his spitting mad nature over everything. So like there's a market for it. Not on television. It doesn't work as well on television.
Right.
You know, like sometimes O'Reilly would do the angry man thing, but overall,
I ain't gonna lie. When Mark Levin's numbers is atrocious. It's like, bro, how do you have these type of numbers, and you're on Fox News? Like, how have they not fired your ass already? I mean, I'm sorry, but what in the nepotism? Something's going on. How does Mark Levin still have a job, but he put in like less viewers on his channel than I do? And I'm not on Fox News. I'm not. But this man is, and you go to his personal channel, this bro has no views for real. None.
Paul O'Reilly was kind of more of a happy warrior. Like O'Reilly would smile. O'Reilly would make jokes. O'Reilly could laugh at himself. You know, I know because I knew Bill well when I was there. So he didn't do that. Levin never understood that like on television, you do need to smile every once in a while. Not everything can be an 11. You're going to exhaust the audience. And that's why he always failed. Like he never had ratings. He had Sean Hannity mostly building him up. And that's kind of how it was. He was kind of like an ogre, you know, around the halls with the shoulders up like this and kind of down the hallway. And you'd kind of be like, oh God, don't, like Bruce Banner, don't make him angry. You won't like him when he's angry. But it was all the time about every single thing. And with me, it was actually crazy because I liked him. He came on to promote his book on my current show. And I puffed him up. I said very nice things about him, which is what he needs, by the way, in order to like be in any way talked to. Like you can't have a conversation with a guy unless you give him a little puffery first.
Oh, wow. He's kind of like Trump.
yeah, actually. So we did fine, but like even with me liking him and being nice to him and being ardently pro-Israel at the time, he was still like a fucking powder keg. You had to be like, oh, you had to be handled. Just because he's such an angry dude. And you see it now, for yourself every Sunday he goes on the air.
How tall is he?
That's facts. And Mark Levin do be sounding like one of the most angriest people ever. Everything is like, it's always the fucking Islamists. It's the Islamists. It's the Nazis. It's Tucker Carlson. It's Candace Owens. It's like, bro, chill, calm down. Like, is it really that serious? Like, damn.
Not very. And plus he's got the hunched over thing. Seriously, he's got the thing that like really tall people will do. That they don't want to be that tall, like girls in particular, right? Only he's not very tall, but he does kind of walk around like this. Like there's no neck.
Oh, jeez.
This is my Mark Levin invitation.
So in other words, he's hideous.
Nazis, neo-Nazis.
Yeah, well, don't feel bad. It worked on me. I bought like 5 of his books. So
yes, because that's the same thing. You were being fed Mark Levin by Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh, like the gods of conservative radio, and legitimized, by him. Yeah. And he didn't make Israel his thing every other night. Like that's, I think, a more recent thing. I think we kind of knew where he stood on Israel. And by the way, in my entire time at Fox and my entire time, closer to the Republican Party, that there was no downside to that. There was zero down. Like the Republican Party in Israel were like this. And that's why you have so many statements by so many politicians, Ted Cruz and others, like there's zero daylight between me and Israel. Like I have 100% voting record with AIPAC. There used to be zero downside to that. I don't hold that against politicians. I do hold it against them if they're not reassessing, because Ted Cruz isn't there for Ted Cruz. He's there, and this isn't about Ted Cruz. I'm actually friendly with Ted Cruz, but I'm just saying, like politicians in general, you're not there for you. You're there for your constituents. And if you've got like every Republican under the age of 65 now begging you to reconsider this close relationship because they don't want their son drafted, you owe it to them to do that and like keep your finger on the pulse of what your party wants.
Yeah,
Megyn, y'all believe that, bro? Phantom, bro, you're smarter than that, dog. Candace is going to a meetup with Putin, so bro, I'm sorry. No, I gotta stop being a bit condescending. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, but. So I really want you to make sense of that. Just please make sense of that. Why would Candace go meet Putin? Please explain that to me. Why would Candace go out her way to meet Putin? Like, and here's the thing. She just did an interview at her house with Anna Kasparian. So she's not even in Russia now. She never went to Russia, bro. And this is the problem. I mean, bro, y'all believe anything that they tell you about Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. That's also a problem, too. I mean, bro, they can tell you that Candace is actually out there worshiping demons in the forest, and y'all will believe it. Like, bro, they'll tell you that what? Tucker Carlson and Buckley are actually Saudi Arabian agents, and you'll believe it. Like, come on, bro. Really? Why would Candace go meet up with Putin? Really make sense of that in your head, and then you'll understand why that was a complete lie. Oh man!
I think this current administration. I think that everything that that's being shoved down our throats, I think is just a test.
And I'm trying not to be mean, but when people just blindly believe shit like that, I just got to be like, really, bro? Come on. Like, did you even try to look into that? Did you even look up? Did Candace even go to Russia lately? Because she hasn't. She hasn't at all. Like I said, like you can't believe everything you read off X or on, I don't know, some boomers or your favorite boomers post or your favorite pro-Israel guys post. So you got to fact check it a little bit.
How far they can actually go next presidency. Are you worried about if J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio is elected president? Do you feel that there's a strong possibility that we're going to be in a full-fledged war with Iran?
I'm more worried about that under Trump.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, the things he's saying, and I know he wants to bring it to an end now, so I'm happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he genuinely wants to bring it to an end. He can't possibly want anything other than that, looking at the polls. Even Trump, have you noticed, even Trump is not ripping on these polls because they're everywhere. It's every single outlet and every single poll. He knows he can't delegitimize the polls right now. So I do worry that he's going to be pushed by Netanyahu into like one big last hurrah, and that'll turn it around. And it won't.
Bro, see, like Phantom, come on, dog. Like, make that make sense. Why we should go out there and see Putin? Tell me that. Like, what sense would it make to go out there and see Putin? And and she has no family in Russia. And no, neither does her husband. The man's British. So I'm just going like, bro, where are y'all getting these ludicrous stories from where Candace is going to go meet up with Putin? Like, who told you this, bro? Please, like, let me know. Who told you these lies? Because Candace going to meet up with Putin is the most ludicrous thing I've heard all week at this point.
It'll only be part of the escalation trap, and he shouldn't do it. But so that's I'm more worried about him. I think JD, he can't say it publicly because he's got to be a loyal guy to Trump, and it would be career suicide not to be in his role. But I don't think he's in favor of this. I think he's like, oh my God, like, and he doesn't want to be saddled with it, and it's already hampering his numbers. So like, I don't think I guarantee you, I haven't talked to him about it, but I guarantee you there's not a bone in his body that is in favor of this or wanted this. Marco's more neocon-y, though I think, according to the New York Times, was skeptical about this and told Trump that what he was being told by Netanyahu was bullshit and not to believe him. I mean, I think Marco's big issue has more been Cuba all along and not so much Iran, although he's very, very pro-Israel. He's still in that place where all the Republicans were, no daylight. You're always on Israel's side. But Marco's savvy. I really hope he is able to see what's happening to the party and can like extend an elbow in the way that Charlie Kirk.
Oh, how about this? I'll do you a favor, Phantom. Let me just go ahead and give you the details then. Because it does look like there may be a little bit of truth to what you were talking about. Because she didn't go to meet Putin. No, bro. She went there for a speaking event. Candace Owens traveled to St. Petersburg. Already traveled there, by the way. So you said she's going to. She already traveled there. And, like I said, I don't know why, but it's just the Candace and Tucker slander is a propaganda tool that I need to debunk. Because you guys have no good reason to hate Candace or Tucker. Actually, y'all was on their side until they went anti-Israel. And then you start believing all the propaganda against them. But here it is right here. Candace Owens traveled to St. Petersburg, Russia to serve as a featured speaker on a panel at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Does that say that she's meeting up with Putin like you said? No, but let's get into it though. The trip became the subject of an online controversy because Owens initially described her travels on social media as a private family vacation. Well, she is taking her husband, so I mean, that is fam, claiming she was visiting to tour cathedrals because she's Catholic, and that her husband regularly travels to Russia for fishing. For fishing, guys. What did you say? Family? No, for fishing. And her going with her husband, that does constitute as a family vacation. So it is what it is. Shortly after, online investigators, journalists, including Laura Loomer and Ryan Morrow, revealed that she was actually scheduled to speak at a major Russian government and business conference alongside officials Vladimir Putin. Owens also stated that she planned to meet with controversial Russian philosopher Alexander Dugin during the trip. But here's the thing, guys, so funny. There actually is no like conflicting story here because that's exactly what the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum is. Actually, that's exactly what it is. So is either Laura Loomer is retarded, which she most likely is, She was actually scheduled to speak at a major Russian government business conference. Yeah, she said it. St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Yeah, that's like, what? So is Laura Maluma retarded or something, bro? Because to sit there and say that, oh no, she's speaking at a major Russian government and business conference, yeah, there's no conflicting story here, because that's exactly what this International Economic Forum is, and she's supposed to be speaking on a panel. So she kept it completely honest. But Laura Loomer, she preys on your ignorance. Yes, she preys on your ignorance not to know any of this. And you'll just go along with the story because you're ignorant on the subject matter. And it's tough, but you got played, bro. You got played. You got to stop letting these people play on y'all ignorance. Like, please just look it up. That's all y'all got to do to debunk this stuff. But instead, you fall into blind belief. But hopefully you learn something to not blindly believe Laura Loomer. I mean, come on, bro. It's Laura Loomer. Like, of all people to blindly believe, like, I don't know if you really want to put your cards on that one. But, I mean, you're going to do you.
Burke was trying to do before he died for young Republicans who are Israel skeptical. So I don't know. I don't believe, I think JD Vance is a non-interventionalist and his instincts will be absolutely to avoid war. Marco, I'm less convinced of that, though I think he's a good man.
So there's hope for the Republican Party.
Ish. Yeah. Ish. It's like, look, no matter who it is. And I mean, I would vote for JD Vance in an instant. I really hope he runs. I will 100% support him. But, you know, you have to make a lot of promises in order to get that office.
Yeah.
You got to kiss a lot of ass. And look at, like, Miriam Adelson, $100 million is tough to turn down. That actually can make the difference between winning and losing. And you can't do anything for your worldview or the worldview of the people who think like you if you lose. So they all get caught in this trap where they wind up doing the bidding of those with the deepest pockets. You know, look what just happened with Trump and the vapes. You know, it's like RJ Reynolds, they're making vapes now, and they wanted his approval of these vapes. And this is reportedly the reason he got rid of McCary, who was great. I loved McCary. He was great. He's a brilliant doctor. He was doing the Maga thing at FDA. And reportedly, he didn't want to fast track approval of these vapes because they're like Hawaiian punch flavored. It's very clearly for children. And it's not great to get kids hooked on vaping. And
Bro, I even looked into this little, economic forum that Candace Owens went to, the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. And like I said, because Laura Loomer is retarded and she don't know what she's talking about, she tried to say, oh, she's going to a business event that she wasn't being honest about. I mean, yes, that's exactly what the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum is. But if you don't believe me, got you right here. Like I said, but you got to attack the Candace and Tucker Carlson hate, because people don't really have a good argument for hating Candace. They just do it because the pro-Israel guys told them to do it. I mean, I'm so serious. Like, even when it comes to the investigation of Charlie Kirk, they really don't have a real good reason to be mad at her, because, I mean, well, she's kind of hitting on something, since the evidence to try to link Tyler Robinson to that bullet came in inconclusive, aka they can't make that connection to him. But let's get into it. The St. Petersburg International Economic Forum is an annual Russian business event for the economic sector, which has been held in St. Petersburg since 1997, under the auspices of the president of Russia since 2006. Each year, more than 10,000 people from over 112 countries, aka this ain't nothing new, but yes, 120 different countries take part. The forum brings together the chief executives of major Russian and international companies, heads of state, political leaders, prime ministers, deputy prime ministers, and departmental ministers and governors. So a lot more people just show up, just besides, media heads. So let's see. The key purpose of the forum is to provide practical solutions for business and governments, and helping to overcome geographical and information barriers between Russia and other countries. The forum was historically intended for Russia to attract foreign direct investment, discuss economic policy, and project a global image that Russia was open for business after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Now, do you understand? Hopefully you do. Kind of crazy though, but kind of crazy how a lot of people didn't really do any real research into that, because you kind of open it up and it's like, oh, this is a nothing burger. Yeah, just like everything else Laura Loomer says, it's usually a nothing burger.
So he didn't want to do the fast track approval, and reportedly that's why he got pushed out of FDA. Well, what happened? Then they came in and reportedly made a $5 million donation, and guess what happened? There was a call made reportedly to RFKJ, who's now kind of in charge, and McCarry's gone, and they got approved. Like, that's how Washington works. So the most principled person can go in there swearing they're not going to be bought and paid for, but it takes a lot. It takes like a Thomas Massey type who really means it. I mean, honestly, like, I think Tucker, who's extremely committed to his ideologies and so on, like his POV, I don't think he could be bought and paid for, but like, it's very tough. I think 9 out of 10 of them go along to get along because they want to preserve their political hide more than they want to stay ideologically pure.
Do you think that's why Tulsi Gabbard at that hearing, she would not say that Iran did not have nuclear weapons?
Yes, of course. She is in an impossible position too. I think Tulsi knows very well we need her in that job. It is very bad for everything the country needs.
Yeah, but sadly, she had to step out. Here's the thing. She was already being kept out of briefings in the inner circle because she wasn't pro-Iran war. So let's just be real there. I mean, it's the reason why Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard, the two most informed people on Iran, was kept out, because they weren't pro getting into war with Iran. And I'm be real with you. I mean, it looked like Tulsi might have just been looking for the best excuse to get up out of there, since she was pretty much rendered useless. When the CIA come in there and snatch documents from you and you're supposed to be the head of them, then, I mean, what power do you honestly have? But all right, let's get back to it.
And what I believe in, what you guys believe in, to have Tulsi Gabbard leave that job or be kicked out. So, man, she had to thread that needle. Like, she knew what was true. She knew what the president wanted to hear.
Right. And
she was so careful with her words. I was relieved she managed to survive. But of course, it did diminish her in Trump world.
It did.
And I don't know how secure her position is, but I thanked God she said what was real and she didn't get fired.
Yeah.
Right. Joe Kent, I guess he just felt so disgusted about the Warren administration that he just couldn't take it anymore. He just resigned. And people was calling him a traitor and things. Because deep down, I mean, everybody, even the boomers, they know deep down inside that this war is all bullshit. There's no nuclear weapons. We're doing this for Israel. Yeah. And that's the only reason why, we lost the 13 Americans that we did. It's because it's just BS.
Well, and look at poor Joe Kent. It's like your wife died in Syria because, under the Trump administration 1.0, for a war that...
I think it was pretty fucked up for Trump to hop on his dead wife about him getting remarried. And I'm just like, bro, Trump, you've been remarried like 5 times, dude. You cheated on one of your wives. This dude was literally told his wife till death did them part. So to sit there and hop on Joe Kent's ass about remarrying when you've literally cheated and got remarried like what, 3-4 times? I mean, dog, who are you to even talk? Like, sit down. And let's be real, she died in Syria, a war that you were supposed to pull us out of. So because of you not being able to keep your promise, his wife basically died.
What are we doing over there? Why is this happening? What's this an extension of? Syria now? Why are we even in Syria? What's happening in Syria? It's another Middle Eastern quagmire that we got involved in. He didn't think she should be over there. They had 2 young sons and she died. She got killed. And so I'm sure in a way that we can only imagine, Joe Kent has like a serious opposition to recklessly involving the United States in another Middle East war.
Yeah, see, bro. Yeah, Phantom. Alexander Dugin, I'm be real, didn't really have anything to do with anything. I get that you don't like him as a philosopher, but that really doesn't have anything to do with the topic of Candace going there. And no, Candace didn't omit her speaking to the function. She didn't. She made it public. The place where she went to go speak at made it public. So, and she already actually went on the trip. We've already discussed this, that Candace Owens has already taken this trip. Like, yeah, Candace Owens traveled, past tense traveled to St. Petersburg, Russia to serve as a featured speaker. So the trip already happened, and she didn't omit anything. She was honest about going to here. The problem is you actually believe Laura Loomer when she said that Candace was lying when she wasn't. She said, "Oh, Candace is actually going to a business meeting where important people speak." Yeah, she's already admitted to that. When she says she's going to the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, that's her admitting to it. She didn't lie. The fact is Laura Loomer preyed on your ignorance, which you're showing right now, that you wouldn't know this. And you just proved it. Like, bro, like this should let you really know something about who you honestly need to start listening to. I ain't saying you gotta listen to me, but sure the hell shouldn't be her. Especially since you didn't even know that the trip already happened and you're complaining about Alexander Dugin, who's just a Russian philosopher who has some wacky ideas, in my opinion. But that's it. What's that have to? Why are you mad about that? Like, bro, what, bro? Hold on. And that she's already on a family trip. Yeah, you take your husband. You take your wife with you out of the country. I mean, that's a family trip to most people, bro. I don't know where you live, but you take your wife out the country, shit, for business or whatever. Your wife there is basically a family trip. Like, is your wife or your husband not family? Like, what happened? And no, she's not lying because, well, everything's been tracked. That's what I'm saying. It's like y'all will believe anything.
Or, I mean, it was a war of choice that we started this Iranian war. So, to his credit, he stuck by his views. But I've got to be honest, if you asked me back when he was thinking about what should I do, I would have urged him not to do what he did, because I don't think Joe Kent quitting advanced